Start recording here any second. Wait another 30 seconds and then we go. How's everyone been so far? Had a good week? Hopefully everyone is being good. Very good. Love it. Love it. I think we'll get started right away, team. Yeah, sorry, a few minutes early, but yeah, it's been a good week, Kamaga. It's been a good week. It's been a good week, but I just wanted to just jump in right away because there's a couple of setups. So instead of just going through the usual analysis, we'll get back to it in a tick. We're still going to do it, but so I'm long in silver from here. Personally, you can see on the daily, we have come back very cleanly into this order block right here. And we're starting to have a reaction on lower time frame. So I really like this level. It's in a strange fib pocket. Sorry, just below the 618. I think we're gonna front run the 786 personally, which is why I got the stop loss at the 786. Because past that, my idea is invalid. GM Nimesh, we were getting right into it before market runs away from us. So I'm just calling a couple of setups pretty much live here. So this is, excuse me, this is silver. So it's live. I'm live on this long in silver. If you are looking at, yeah, see, this is already starting to move. Uni, I am live on Uni as well. So 4 hour, this is a crypto, of course. So we've gone from silver into crypto. Similar to silver, but on the 4 hour, we come back into this beautiful institutional candle. So this is a long, it's already starting to move. That's why I wanted to get in quick because it's already starting to. If there is a small retracement, you can try to catch it. It's a 1 to 2.2 here. You could go lower, so with a tighter stop loss here. I'm not against it. I just fear that this institutional candle back here might get retest. So if you want to play this, you can do a couple of entries. I'm not against it either. Just in case we do a retest below this equal lows, you can see there's a pocket of liquidity left here for Uni, depending on your obviously price feed that you have. But I'm not against having an entry to somewhere around the 50% of this candle, just a bigger mitigation on that candle. So something like this. Definitely not against. If you want to do an entry 1 and entry 2, that will give you a 1 to almost 5.5. So I'm active in Uni, I'm active in silver, and there was also grass. Grass is a little bit less clean than Uni. You can see Uni had this really clean 4 hour order block right there. Whereas grass is also at a very good fib level. We can see obviously structure has shifted down here. We're starting making higher highs and higher lows. So on the 4 hour, we're definitely bullish. What we do have now is a nice retracement on the latest structure into the 76 fib pocket. And we have a 4 hour order block. This is not a super clean candle, but it is a last push before a big displacement. The displacement did get remitigated, you can see, but didn't quite trade into the body of the candle. So I'm basically betting that we'll come back here into this price action and start slowing down on lower time frame before we go up. So grass is active. So you can see already a little bit of a reaction there. I am active in grass. You might even catch a slightly better entry. It's probably going to happen while we're on the stream, to be honest. This 15 minutes, let me just go and make it a little bit bigger. This 15 minutes candle here, which was the last push down before the displacement on the upside. So that is at 36,729. That's a nice entry right there on grass. If you want to be a bit more sniperish, you can see we're attempting to go a little bit closer. So I'm expecting grass to reverse at this level, or around this level, not here. When I've tried to catch the bigger bottom, but something like this, definitely I can see that happening. Potentially, coming for this liquidity down here. If it does retrace a little bit lower, I'm not against splitting the risk. If you like to split risk, that means that if you have a predetermined, always have a predetermined risk for your trade. So if you decide that your risk is 1%, if you do entry 1 and entry 2, then your entry 2 can be off of this very nice institutional candle here on the 15 minutes. You can see it grabs liquidity, pushes down before the displacement on the upside, and this is at 35,444. That will be an entry 2 on grass. So once again, this is a grass long. I am active. Where's my mouse? Let me grab my cursor. Cool. Yes, I'm active here on grass. And yes, we'll likely see price slowing down here. Okay, so obviously TP, we're gonna go above the highs as usual, and we'll do a relatively tight stop loss just below these lows, because this for this 1 hour order block has already been mitigated. You can see this 1 hour right here was already mitigated into this last push down. So a couple of setups there that I wanted to jump in right away before we delve a little bit deeper into obviously the stream. So active in grass, I am active in uni here, and I am also active in silver. Okay, I also called out DJ30 earlier. DJ30 DJI DJ Dow Jones index is a Dow Jones. Pretty easy trade for me, this one to see. We'll go throughout the stream SPX and a few others, of course, the SP500. This is a test level, very important test level. If we fail here, if we fail from this 46,000, if we fail to hold 46,000, then it's going to look a little bit nasty here for the Dow Jones and also for S&P 500. But out of the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, and all those, the Dow Jones is the one that I am I'm liking the best, just because of the risk to reward. Okay, everything we do here is obviously risk to reward, but you can see we entered already this last push down before the displacement up, and we have a Fibonacci confluence. If we do take the low and the high, and then if you want to take even the micro low and still the high, you can see we have here a Fibonacci cluster, which we obviously had a very big reaction from. So this was a trade in itself. But now we have gone a little bit lower, which means we will likely stall into this daily order block here. So Dow Jones, DJ, depends on what you trade, but DJ30, it is also active for me, and I am willing to take a punt from these levels. There is definitely going to be take profit along the ways. We'll share them as the trade goes our way, hopefully. But yeah, if it does invalidate, it's cool. That means that obviously we are going to start looking for shorts, because structure shifts. Obviously, we're going to have a change of character and a break of structure. Okay, that was a very quick rundown, just pre-stream. So let's do it again. How is everyone? Thank you for joining today. Yeah, another week. We just went straight into it today. Sorry, team. Just wanted to make sure that you didn't you didn't miss any trade as the market moves. So we got stuck right into it. Let's do our usual analysis. And first of all, if you are here with me trading live, thank you so much for your time. Always appreciate you guys and girls. And if you're watching the recording, thank you as well. Now, we can go back and do our usual macro analysis, which is obviously starting from the dollar. We talked about this level here for the dollar, the 100 psychological level for weeks and weeks and weeks. And you can see that we have had an attempt to flip it, but we had 2 consecutive daily candles pushing price back lower. And now this candle right here is attempting once again to push higher. We'll see how it pans out. I do think we are going to come back into this weekly candle which it's the same weekly candle we've been looking for a while now. I think we'll come back to it in a little bit deeper manner than just where we are. We haven't even touched the body. So we'd likely see a small push up on the dollar itself, followed by likely a reaction. How deep of a reaction we'll have to see. I'd love to see a very aggressive move down coming back into this $96 level, but we'll see. It may just be a case where we actually then go a little bit higher to then move lower. Okay, so we don't predict, we just find levels that are likely to going to have big reaction. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is doing what is annoyingly been doing for now, what is that, 4 months, 5 months? Just moving sideways, okay? You can see it's attempting to break lower. It's not really succeeding, but the good news is, there is a good news. There is a silver lining. Tell me in the chat, what happens to a level the more it gets tested? Does it get stronger? Or does it get weaker? Put an S or a W in the chat. S for stronger or W for weaker. What happens? Does it get stronger or weaker? Weaker, weaker. It will be resistant. That's right. It becomes weaker. So the more we tap a level, it's like chipping away at a block, right? The more you chip away, the weaker it becomes. So what's happening here? Obviously, we've got bears trying to test the buying pressure, and eventually all that buying pressure gets eaten up, and there is no more left. So I do see what I do like what I'm seeing here, which is seeing lower highs being formed. So without predicting, like once again, that's not what we do, but I do think we will see this kind of move now for Bitcoin dominance, likely over the next week or so playing out. So we'll likely see a nice rally, hopefully, of some of our alts. Where are we at a macro? I am seeing so much noise on X, on the news, on newspaper. I don't know. Obviously, we have a bunch of people here on this stream that are from all over the world. But here in Australia, we just raised rates once again. You know, there's cash rates going up. There's basically the news is all fear, 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 fear. Okay, so I'm not really listening to that. I'm not a fundamental trader. I'm a technical trader. But what we do see at a fundamental level at an SP500, which is of course one of the biggest indicators in the world, is that we are likely entering an area of retracement. Right? How deep of a retracement? It depends. I did have a bit of a play in marking up some charts. Here, obviously, we have areas of expansions and areas of retracement. Areas of expansions, area of retracement. Now we had a relatively small expansion here, you can see. So this expansion was 41%, 27%. The latest from the previous high to the new high was only, and I quote only in quotes, 13%. So two likely scenarios, in my opinion, here. We either retrace into this weekly candle, which is exactly where we are now. So this order block right here. So we will likely see either a bounce and a continuation up, or if we do end up closing sometimes in the weekly chart, my mouse keeps going on my other computer there. If we do end up losing the weekly structure, which is obviously here, the $6,624, then we may be in a little bit of trouble here for the S&P 500, and consequently for a bunch of stocks, and consequently for a few other things as well. It's like a domino effect, right? So S&P 500 is really at a critical level here on the weekly. We will need to see in the next few days how strong of a reaction we have. We do have a lot of liquidity built up here in this level. You can see, we'll do it right there. So there's a lot of liquidity, a little bit lower, all this juicy liquidity, at a little bit lower, about, what is that, few points down. Yeah, 6,000 points. So about 1%. from 1% lower where from where we are today. So we might see still a little bit of a retracement down, and then we need to see a bounce back. If we don't, then let's be prepared of what might come next, because this is the kind of moves that may follow a big expansion phase, right? 27% correction, 21% correction, and even we had a lot bigger, right? 35%, 20%. So you have to always have a plan A, which is if we go up, and a plan B. Plan B is if we do end up sweeping low, I think we'll likely see a very big capitulation. You can see this is a 200 average. I only use EMAs only on really high time frames, and I only pretty much use the 200 to be honest. And you can see we are very overextended, right? Nothing new there. So a correction to me feels normal. A 20% correction will bring us somewhere in the vicinity of A, the the average, but also B, in a potential fib pocket of around the 786 area. So I am kind of leaning towards the bearishness here for S&P 500, but I would love to see obviously a reaction and a continuation higher. Basically, in other words, I would love for us to be in this area right here, where you can see we had slow down, or even here, slow down, push down, and then continuation up. So I'd love for it to be the case here, where we continue a little bit higher. And potentially we go towards, the 30-ish, 25-ish% level of expansion, which would take us conveniently into you can see into a Fibonacci extension from low to high. So it could make sense, but both case scenarios are, in my opinion, at play here. So too soon to tell which. We'll just have to wait for the structure to tell us. That's what we always say. We wait for we wait for the market to show us. We're not trying to predict anything. We just got to wait for the market to show us. So keep an eye on the S&P 500. At a close eye at that as well. Put alerts, because this will obviously dictate a whole bunch of other things, right? Speaking of indexes, that's why I said at the beginning of this call that this is a test for me on the DJ30. You can see the difference. So the S&P 500, it's quite, it's not really at a very nice level there, whereas in terms of risk to reward, whereas the risk to reward here for the DJ30, in my opinion, is a lot better. If this is indeed the point of slowing down and reversing, I am happy to play at this level. But if we do fail, then we already know where we're going to be heading. We're likely going to be heading closer to that average, somewhere in order blocks down here, and very likely somewhere into some sort of Fibonacci level into 702, 786, 6 level. So this long on DJ30 is more of a test of, hey, are we going to stick? Are we not? I don't trade New York opens, unfortunately, because it's overnight for me. So I just I just basically enter a market order here. But we will likely see during the New York session today, and potentially even London, but very likely in the New York session, price developing a little bit with a clearer direction, if it makes sense. Okay. So a couple of macro analysis there, which I felt were important. Where does that leave us with gold? Gold, unfortunately, we were a little bit early. We tried a couple of longs and didn't go well. Now, where are we at? Let's go on a daily and let's take a look at. We're gonna take a look at gold, because silver we already know we're in a long at the moment. So gold had obviously a massive run on Tuesday. Everybody knows that, but it doesn't like to stay. It doesn't like to go on a bearish run for too long. So this bearish correction which we just had, it's quite significant. We just had a 21% correction after the whole time high back in end of Jan, and we just had, now we're sitting at another 11% correction. If you believe that the dollar is going to go down and roll eventually, which it will, because we just looked at it, right? It is at a level now of potential reversal, is approaching EMAs, it is approaching liquidity level weekly. So if we do believe that the dollar could potentially roll over back on the downside anytime now, it makes sense for a risk on assets such as gold, such as Bitcoin, such as silver, and all those to roll back up. Okay, so that's why you always have to have a thesis and always look at where are you at with some of these market temperature gauges. So I am basically attempting to go in longs at the moment with gold as well, but with very small risk. Okay, so let's say, for example, that Aussie predetermined risk is 1%. I am playing these plays right now as 0.25, which is a quarter. First of all, they're split entries, but also both those split entries allow me to be at half of my usual risk. And the reason is because I have not had any real confirmation just yet, and we could go lower. So these kind of setups, you basically have to understand that they are not A plus setups. Okay, so this is the setup that I look at it and I go, I mean, this fits all my confirmations, and I am in. Then I also like to personally, I do B plus and B. Okay, so the C I don't even look at it. The B I rarely take. But these are the kind of setups that I in my head I categorize, and these kind of setups they tend to be towards the B plus. So I'm taking them at a very low risk. It's kind of like, yeah, I have some exposure. I have a thesis. Silver looks really good here at this level for my risk to reward. We have Nimesh here on the call, so I'm going to throw in a little bonus here for him. Ready. Also looks like it's doing an harmonic potentially. So something like this could play out. It could play out. We could go deeper though. That's the thing. We could go deeper, and we could also go a little bit lower here. So these kind of setups here sit on the B plus category for me. Okay, so I haven't called this for a reason. I'm showing it to you because transparency. This is what I mean. But I'm not gonna call for you guys a B plus setup. This is a personal choice. I want to give you guys what I think it's got the best possible legit. I was visualizing, of course. I want to give you guys and girls the most probable scenarios, right? But just know that in your trading journey, in your trading category, you can build a thesis around it and still have exposure to assets if you want to, without over leveraging and or over risking. Okay, so in this case, you can see I've identified that we are in a fib cluster, and therefore I am in with a very low risk, and I'm emphasizing very low risk in gold at the moment. But what I have called out earlier, if you join in later, we went straight back into some live calls, is silver. Silver's a lot cleaner for a long here, in my opinion. We obviously had the change of character. We have retraced back into this beautiful order block, which is followed by a very nice expansion or displacement, and obviously it's already starting to move there. It's sitting just above the 702, but it's a little bit deeper than a 618, so it's a 618 effectively retracement that we have here. The reason why we have such tight stop loss is, one, we have liquidity into this previous candle right here, and two, if we do go lower, then we will look at re-entering at a better risk to reward in somewhere into this area, which we can actually look at now anyway. You can see this really big push down. We'll take a look at grass as well, which is the other live. So this is likely gonna be a minutes, somewhere in the minute. Yeah, it's already identified, and a 15 minutes candle. So this was the wick that I will likely be playing off if we go lower on silver. This candle right here. So you can see 15 minutes. This will be my entry too, lower in silver. Okay, so basically somewhere there will be my next play for silver, just below the AA6 which is obviously a little bit risky in terms of extending it. And we know that anything past the A6 tend to go a little bit riskier, but also better risk to reward if you manage your risk accordingly. So this will be a nice, 1 to 7.5. If we go lower. Okay, crypto-wise, let's take a look at Bitcoin first of all. This was a very unfortunate Bitcoin short. We did get stopped out, which was, it was annoying because we did get the direction right, and the thesis is playing out from the squiggle. I think we drew this squiggle last week from memory, where we said basically we'd likely see Bitcoin coming back into this fair value gap on the 4-hour, come back down here and long. In that, it may still go lower. I don't think it will at this stage, but it may still play out. It's just annoying that we got stopped out. It happens. I didn't want to get overexposed into that trade, so it's here. We got stopped out. It happens, but it's good to see the thesis playing out. So this 4-hour candle is basically still a target potentially for Bitcoin. We will see if we do gap back down there. So what I would suggest we do is just draw a line. That's a liquidity pocket right there. And you know that if we do cross that line, then trading area is active. So something like this could happen. Solana is also a long similar to Uni swap. 4-hour block did get tapped. This was unfortunately happened a little bit earlier, so no need to be in this one as well. Don't follow this trade. It's too late already. It's already starting to move. We did catch Uni, we did catch grass, and that's good. It should never be more than 2 trades anyway. So pick the 2 that make sense. But I was lucky enough to snap this one. It's the same trade. Okay, you can see same trade. What we have here is obviously very big change of character. We make a low and then we change the character again, and obviously we are now making higher lows and higher highs. Okay, so playing off of that 4-hour order block, nice and easy. This was literally to the T. We literally just came back, but might even give us an entry. We have to be a little bit careful with the 2 trades that we just called out, which is Uni and Grass. And I say that, and I'll flag it now, because if Bitcoin is going to go for this 4-hour order block, and it doesn't reverse from here, then obviously all of other cryptos are going to follow lower. So have a plan predefined already where you would want to re-enter lower. For me is somewhere around these order blocks here. So for Uni will be there, something like that. But I'll probably take Bitcoin, to be honest. For Solana, Solana's probably the cleanest here, but the daily candle you can see is this one right here, super clean. And then let's look at ETH as well. So Ethereum still have this. Well, we can delete this quickly because that's pretty much happened already. You can see this daily block daily order block, excuse me, down here at this, what is it, 1969 area right there. But we also failed to come back into the same candle that activated for Solana and for Uniswap. It was pretty much the same candle. Ethereum is just shown a bit more strength, and it hasn't retraced to that level just quite. Okay, so I'm actually going to delete this. I don't want to play it off of it again because we have already exposure to the upside with Uni and Grass. And if we do end up going lower, then we know where to look, right? Bitcoin down here into that 67, 333 into the 65, call it 66. Okay, we had a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. Let's take a look at XRP. I am currently in a I am in a short in XRP, but we'll just delete it. I might delete it because I am in the short. Hang on. Let me just quickly just move that away. There. But yeah, similar to obviously what we just looked at for Bitcoin and for Solana, we do have a daily order block down here potentially if we do get lower. Okay, so I would like to see us going back here for XRP, but it's a little bit less clean than the other three. You do have that same, obviously, potential, willingness, I guess, not potential, but willingness to push higher. We'll just have to wait and see if we do hit that 1.35 area there. Let's take a look at grass, which is starting to move. Grass is just, it is a beautiful trade in my opinion, because it is so clean. And if we do get stopped out, we'll get stopped out. But you just have to understand when you're trading, the most important thing is not the outcome, is sticking to your plan. And this is obviously a bullish environment here that we have formed on grass. If we do capitulate lower, we're likely going to come back into the 30 cents area, 30 cents and between 28 and 30 cents, call it 29 cents and 30 cents. So that will be the next level up. But definitely you're willing to have a punt here on grass. So it is starting to move. Hype, hype. I just wanted to go over the trade. This is a trade that we closed off now. Where did my Asta, sorry, Asta was a trade that we closed off. So Asta had 3 entries, right? We had an entry down here, which was this one. Then yesterday we closed the entry 2 at break even, so it's not on the chart anymore. And then we had another entry up here. Just before this call, I pinged you guys in the chat, and I said I'm closing entry 1 at break even. So this is an entry 1 at break even. Entry 2 was already closed at break even. So no loss there, no loss there. And now I am closed on entry 3 in profit. Okay. It was only a 1-to-1-ish there on Asta. The reason why I've closed this trade now, first of all, is you can see we have grabbed liquidity here on this week. Price has started to slow down into those, you can see those 2 4-hour candle. So we may or we may not go a little bit lower, but I just don't like the uncertainty and the odds here. I've already got exposure into cleaner trades, so I don't want to have too many trades open, first of all. And second of all, I close it in profit. So I got paid by this trade. We got paid by this trade. You know, we were in drawdown for a little bit on entry 1 and entry 2, but we closed them both at break even, and we closed entry 3 in profit. So that's it. The trade has done its job. It has paid us, and now we just move on to the next. So I just wanted to go through over this one here, and the logic of waiting for come back into break even and closing. And probably nothing new there. If you're one of my students, you know that this is exactly how smart money trades. They basically open positions and they just wait to come back into break even, and they close their positions, and then they basically what is that? I was gonna say sink and repeat. It's not. It's wash and repeat. They keep doing it. Wash. Yeah. I can't speak English today. Sorry, team. Haven't had enough coffee. You know what I'm trying to say. Rinse and repeat. Thank you, T-Bone. Thank you. Rinse and repeat. Oh my gosh. Okay. Hype, I have it on the chart because I think this is a good level for a potential short. Okay. Potential being the key word. This is the macro structure. We are sitting between the 50% and the 618. So this is the first level of, we're paying attention. Some of you guys love it. I definitely, it's not that I don't like it, but I definitely think it's not the best for risk to reward. So I have identified that we are currently at 50% 618 into the macro structure, but we are also, if we do structure markup, we are also, this was the previous low, that's the previous high, this was the previous low, so we can do the same. Oops, get rid of that. We can also see that from the latest high into the latest low, we are now instead in the 76 and 886. So we basically are in a confluence area between 2 Fibonacci levels, right? Fib cluster, as we call them. And most importantly, if we just delete fibs, we had not one, not two, but three equal highs up here that just yesterday or a few hours yesterday, because this is a new candles of 30 minutes ago, we just grabbed. Oops. We just grabbed. So we just grabbed liquidity here, right there. That was a liquidity grab. And now, am I against the short here? Absolutely not. I'm not against it. You just have to be aware that we may go a little bit deeper into the macro structure. Okay, so we may go a little bit deeper into the macro structure. If you do take a short, this is a valid setup. I don't mind it at this excuse me, current price. So literally where we are right now, this can be a live setup if you want, just to have a bit of short exposure since we are long on other assets. But just keep an eye out. Basically, that's all I'm saying, right? So you can see that on a 4 hour, we still haven't had any sort of change of structure. We are still very much making higher highs and higher lows. So far, we only have had the liquidity grab as part of like confirmation. So this is not a confirmed trade yet. We are basically, stacking confirmation. We have Fibonacci level, tick. Liquidity grab, tick. Structure has not confirmed anything just yet. Okay, so it's not an A+ trade. Just be wary of that. And you can see the 15 minutes maybe is starting to give us some sort of signal that he wants to shift. Okay, so if you enter here, if you do decide to take this trade, just be wary that you should go maybe half risk, right? So once again, if you do 1% risk, this is a 0.5% risk, because it's not A+ setup. It doesn't give you all the confirmations that we do want just yet. So in other words, structure has not broken yet, and therefore it's not the most probable setup just yet. But I am flagging to you guys and girls that this is a very likely, not so much necessarily reversal, full reversal, but definitely a reaction area. Okay, so I just wanted to real quick give you an option as well to some short exposure, because obviously we have long. This is a short exposure right here. Okay. Whew, that was pretty much what I have for today. So lots of macro, lots of crypto, couple of stocks that I called out yesterday. We have Adobe. I am in with Adobe at current price action. I am okay to be in drawdown a little bit because there is a that's the wrong one. You can see this weekly pushback, the push down. So weekly push sell to buy move, which sits just below the 786. So I am okay in starting to add. I have already started to add yesterday to my position a little bit higher. It was a 254. So I'm in slight drawdown here, but I am okay. I'll keep adding effectively. And if we do break below the 200, then I know that my idea was invalid and I'll likely close all of my position at a slight loss, okay? Because obviously if we do fail to hold this kind of structure, then we go lower. But I don't think that's going to happen personally. There's a lot of, look at the earnings themselves, but there's also a lot of bullish AI news and things like that with Adobe, the absolute leader in the field, things like Acrobat and all those. So basically, in my opinion, this is one of the better risk to reward and also no-brainer kind of trades that we can look at the moment. I also call that DocuSign. If you look at this chart, of course, this was the IPO back in 2018. Absolute run, crazy run this thing had. It went up 9x. And then we retraced all the way down. We broke structure again, and now we completed the cycle back into below the AA6. If you do look at things like volume, of course, which we like to do in stocks, there's a lot of volume that is starting to come back in DocuSign. So I'm in as of yesterday. I pinged you guys current price action. I think we're already up because it was back here at 46. So DocuSign is an active stock trade for us here. And yeah, once again, there's a lot of action, but this chart just makes sense in my opinion. There's a lot of, once again, catalysts that if you go and have a look at all the news, they've got earnings coming up. So yeah, it's a good play. Cinemesh, have a good one, mate. Thanks for joining in. And if you want to have a little bit more, excuse me, losing my voice, a bit of a more risky play. These are kind of like your lottery tickets almost, right? It's okay to have a couple. I wouldn't do too many in your stock portfolio, but plug, we successfully caught 3.5x with plug back in September last year, and now it has retraced almost the entire move, right? A lot of volume starting to come back in on this thing. So if we think that this was perhaps the actual change of character, then normally we now would have a breaker structure following. Okay, so you can play either trying to catch the low here, a very small position. Please don't do any leverage on these kind of stocks, just do spot. Um, or you can just wait the actual confirmation being the breaker structure, and then um, we can catch the long with a bit more conviction. So plug is a good example of, you know, a small little lottery ticket that you can have uh, in your portfolio, in your stock portfolios. And we will also look at Weeble. I want to see some structure here. Hasn't really formed anything at the moment, unfortunately. But in my opinion, we'll see some sort of reversal here on Weeble soon. And what was it? QCOM. That's it. So this is quantum. I put this in my channel. This is quantum chips, Qualcomm. Okay, so obviously everyone talks about AI, but there is a narrative that is starting to shift into quantum computing, right? This is a very early narrative. Hasn't necessarily established itself just yet. So if you do want to have exposure relatively early, because you know this thing has been out since 1999, if you do want to have some sort of early exposure to quantum computing, this is not a bad stock to look at, but you have to be willing and ready to potentially digest some sort of drawdown if we do end up, you know, coming back for some liquidity lower. So I just wanted to put a narrative on your radar, so you can see I've got a whole watch list. I've also got IonQ, QBTS, which I wouldn't touch until it comes back into the fives. RGTI, Rejected Computing, and also Q2. This is the ETF, so Defiance Quantum. So this basically allows you to have exposure to all of the quantum computing without necessarily having to go and pick your individual stocks, which is what an ETF is. Okay, so just a bit of a side note on a narrative, not necessarily a stock itself, but a narrative as well. Okay. And then that's pretty much it for stocks, because everything else, we got Klarna, which is in profit from our entry. We have no, actually came back into our entry now. Duolingo is another one that I am adding to personally to my portfolio. Keep adding. My entry was somewhere up here, and then I bought more, and then I'm buying more as well. I just think, yeah, it is going to do well. It is not necessarily risky, but it's definitely going to be an interesting play to see here. With 80, they've got, actually, I was reading yesterday, they've got 110 million monthly active users, and their revenue model, it's heavily increasing. So they definitely pulling in money. It's just going to be interesting to see how they're going to play out with AI. But for those of you on the call still, what do you see on this chart that grabs your attention? Let me know. If I've lost you, if I made you fall asleep, or if you're still here, what do you see on the chart? Yes, T-Bone. Highest ever volume just came in at the very lows. Okay. This is usually a very, very good sign. you basically have the most amount of volume ever by a lot coming in at the lows, which tells you that usually not necessarily right away, it's not a V shape, but that's when price develops. Okay, so this is the last one that I put on your radar for today. Just know I've already started this year in my position, so I'm adding, but this is very, very encouraging to see for Duolingo. Okay, that is it for today. I feel like I'm gonna need a hot tea or something because my throat is, yeah, I'm getting sick, which is not good because I'll be traveling next week. So yikes, need to get better. Any questions, team, in the chat, or any charts that you want me to take a look at? Let me know. Put that in live session. Thank you, honey. Thank you for joining in, fam. Thank you for joining in live. Thank you, thank you. Right, cool. Looks like there's no other questions, so I'm gonna go and upload this on the YouTube channel for those that weren't able to make it live. And of course, we do have some live trades now, so just be keep an eye on those, yeah. So don't forget, we may have lower exposure, but we'll see how it plays for now. It's all about risk to reward, fam. Much appreciate you guys and girls. Have a great rest of your day or evening or afternoon, depending where you are. And I'll see you guys and girls next week. Bye.